Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Mike. Mike is from New York City, so let's see what Mike has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hello Mike, I'm very well. How are you doing today?
Doing well, thank you.
So how's your morning going so far?
It's good. Yeah, running around like a crazy person, but that's all right. How's yours? Well, I guess your afternoon.
It's been good, yeah. I've been recovering of a cold and flu. I'm a bit rocky. If you can see my voice a bit rocky, but I'm okay. I'm good. Getting there.
Oh, okay.
So tell me, where are you from?
So I'm from here, from New York, and then I was raised in New Jersey, and then moved back to New York about 14 years ago, and have been here since, which has been really nice. But I grew up not far from the city, just like an hour outside.
I see. But you were born in New York City.
Manhattan.
Wow. What's the best part of living in New York, in your opinion?
The lots of different types of people and how quickly you can have access to everything. Um, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm going to be in New York forever, but I definitely don't feel like I'm done with it just yet. And I think what keeps me here is that you can still have new experiences. You can still stumble upon like a part of the city that you've never been to, and that's exciting.
I see. And all your family live in New York City as well?
They're in New Jersey,
New
but they're all
Jersey.
from here. They're all from here too.
I see. And what do you do for a living, Mike?
So now, pre-COVID, I worked in theater. So I was an actor. I performed for about 10 years. And then in COVID, in March 2020, my show was shut down and I transitioned into like a more corporate role now. So now I work for a healthcare company in operations.
I see. So tell me a little bit about your career in acting. How was it?
It was great. Definitely feel like I was able to see the world, and I was able to travel and do things when I was young. That definitely changed as I got older. But right out of college, I was really lucky with opportunities. I worked on cruise ships for a time, or worked on the road for a time, regionally a lot. And I think now looking back on it, I don't really realize what I had at such a young age, the ability to travel to, a lot of the country that I'll probably never get to again, a lot of the world that, people at that age didn't really get the opportunity to do, and especially doing something that you love. But people also forget that for artists, especially, it's still work. It's still really tough on your body, and it still really demands a lot. So trying to find that balance, I think, is a really tough task.
But now, as you're working now in a different journey, do you still do some acting, or you just left on the side for now?
I do. I try and donate my time as much as I can and volunteer and work, just sort of on projects that make me happy, not necessarily pay my bills. And I think especially for performers and for artists in general, the key takeaway is I've spent a lot of time, how do I want to say this? I spent a lot of time divorcing the idea that my identity as an artist is married to whether or not it generates revenue. And that has been really fulfilling in finding sort of the art within myself and what makes me happy. And ultimately, I think that's what everybody strives for, authenticity.
I see. And through your career, did your family always supported you?
They did. I didn't have a relationship with my dad till I was about 25. And now I have a great relationship with him.
Wow.
More on that. But yeah, my mom was a single parent and raised me pretty much on her own and was always extremely supportive. And now as an adult, I recognize the sacrifices that she made on my behalf, my whole life.
I see. All right. So before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, I would like to tell me something interesting about yourself.
Interesting about myself. I don't know. Am I interesting?
I'm sure you are. I'm sure.
I'll say that a lot of people don't know this about me, but as a kid, I spent many years snowboarding, which a lot of people are surprised to find out. I've been using that as a fun fact. I just started a new job, and I've been using that as a fun fact at my job. And everybody's like, "Oh, really? I ski, but snowboarding? Wow!" And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
That's very interesting for sure. Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Sure.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend. Wonderful questions. I'm just going to play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question. Let's do it. Okay, Mike, before we start the game, during the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay? All very friendly. First question for you is, what is the most beautiful thing someone has ever said to you?
My mom recently told me that I continue to surprise her by my resilience, which
Wow.
I think was really, really nice to hear. The last 2 years have been challenging, you know, transitioning out of an artistic career and into a more corporate professional career. And I think that part of what gives me confidence in life is knowing that I've always had that support.
Wow. Is your mom the person in your family that you are more close to?
Yes, definitely.
Saying that, what is the biggest difference between both of you and the biggest similarity?
We're both very reactive. We definitely have a quick temper that I think as age goes on mellows. And I think our biggest difference is that we're pretty similar. I think our biggest difference is probably the trajectory that our lives are taking, just as far as like a traditional route is concerned. You know, I think for LGBT people, you know, even though my mom is definitely an ally, her life sort of took like a traditional route as far as like marriage, divorce, marriage, kids, in that regard. And I think that at times there's like a cultural difference between my life and the trajectory that it's taking.
You have siblings as well, Mike?
No, I'm the only one.
Oh my God, the only one. Wow. Spoiled?
No, I don't think so. I think part of it is because my dad wasn't around, so my mom was always working. She worked really hard. She worked a full-time job. And because of that, I had a lot because she, you know, made sacrifices, but I was always very aware that it was just her. So I was, I guess you can say maybe like spoiled in the sense of like I never had to worry, because I think that that's a privilege in itself. But even in that, I understood how hard she was working.
I see. And I strongly believe as well, that's why you have this very connection with her. You know, she always will be a safe place for you. For sure. Yeah. Next one. Let's do it. Okay, Mike from New York City. Next question is, by the way, I'm calling you Mike. Is Michael or Mike?
Mike is good.
Okay. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
That's a tough question that I've thought a lot about. I'll say it's hard to predict because life can change very quickly, and the whole world has sort of realized. But I think if I continue on this trajectory that I'm on, I'll be just continuing to climb, you know, where I'm working as far as my job is concerned. 5 years from now, I could potentially be married. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. But, you know, I've been with my partner long term. And I see ourselves, you know, sort of doing what we're doing. Maybe having a house outside of the city. That sounds kind of nice. Whether that's a beach house or that's a cabin, you know, there's some talk about that. So 5 years from now, maybe.
I like the way you said, I see myself married, and you looked on the side like that. I was like, maybe he's watching now.
Yeah.
And how long have you been together for?
Almost 7 years.
Wow, amazing. And how did you guys meet up, if you can share?
We met online. We met on a site called OkCupid, which I'm not sure if is obsolete anymore. But we did. We met online.
Wow. Who gave the first step?
I don't know, actually. I think probably he did. Yeah, I think probably he did.
Very good. Next question. Let's do it. Like, before the next question, tell me, what do you like the most about this new journey in your life in healthcare? What's the most joy of it? And also, there's always a challenging part. What that would be?
The joy is and has been discovering that I have other skills, discovering that I have purpose and I have worth outside of performing. And I think that performing gave me a lot of joy because it has the opportunity to inspire people, which is part of why I loved it. But now working in a more sort of linear, traditional fashion, the healthcare company that I work for has the ability to offer care and to change lives. And to know that I'm a part of that makes me feel inspired to work hard, because I know it can make a difference. The challenges are, I don't really love traditional structure. I like to have a lot of freedom and autonomy in my day, and the idea of waking up and going to an office from 9 to 5 is not something that really works for me. So finding a balance has been a challenge.
Proper artists talking right now.
Oh yeah.
Next question for you is, I think this one's going to be very easy for you to answer. If you could spend the entire day with a family member, who that would be and why?
Actually, I think it would probably be my dad. Just because I feel like I'm playing catch up at times. And I think that he feels that way too. And, we're still, the moments that we have together now feel more meaningful, especially when they're like something that's even just minuscule, like going to lunch or an everyday kind of thing, because I didn't really have that as a young person. So now I have that, getting to know him as an adult.
You can talk about it. Tell me, when was the reconnection? How everything started, if you can share?
Yeah, of course. So my parents separated when I was 6, and my mom raised me pretty much on her own. My dad was in my teen years around, but we didn't really speak or have a relationship. And then after college, when I started really performing on the road and started performing out of town, is when my mom and my dad reconnected. I was probably about 23 or 24. And at the time, I was working on a cruise ship. And I remember getting a call from my mom, and she was like, "Hey, just want to let you know your father and I have been spending time together, and he's moving in." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then so I came home after that contract, and he was around, and it was really like meeting a new person. But then I continued to travel, so I wasn't really there. And then they actually got remarried for a second time when I was 27 or 28. And now they're married, and it's been like meeting a new person. But also for him, he's on a personal journey as well, because part of the reason why they separated was that for many years he struggled with substance addiction. And he is now many years sober, and he's become sort of like a fixture in his community and his support system. And I think that his story at this point in his life is really inspiring people, that there's possibility to have a whole other life, even after you're 60, even after you're 70. And I think for him, the saying like better late than never really is true for him, because I feel like now the things that I didn't have as a kid, I never really imagined were possible now as an adult. So I'm grateful for that.
What a beautiful story, Mike. My goodness. Actually, I had someone on the show as well a while ago, and It was a different situation, but their parents got married again. And I found so beautiful that, because sometimes people, they're not ready in the right moment for different reasons. But then when they realize, there's always a second chance. You never know. When they realize that, it's
Sure.
beautiful.
Yeah,
amazing.
Absolutely.
And growing up as a gay boy, did you have their support?
I did. I think that, in general, times were different. Society was different. We didn't really have much representation anywhere. When I was a kid, and I think about this as an artist a lot, it wasn't so much that I didn't have the support of the community. Like, if I had told them, oh, I want to sing and dance, I want to do gymnastics, I think that would have been embraced. But I really, and living close to the city, people always say, wow, you must have had so much access to culture, but I really didn't. And I think that as a kid, it wasn't that I was afraid that they wouldn't be accepted. It was that I just didn't know boys did that. And if I had had more exposure as a young person, perhaps I would have danced. I didn't really start performing till I was 16. And then by the time I was 16, I was making decisions for myself because I was getting ready to leave. But no, I never had any struggles as far as coming out or anything like that. I was lucky, aside from how hard it is to tell your family and friends. But that's, yeah.
I think all of us will go through that anyway. It doesn't matter how you've been raised or support of your family. We have those moments when if you're scared or insecure or you don't know how to come out. It's a tricky one.
Yeah, and I also think that part of what I'm reflecting on now, post 30, as an adult, is that I see the younger generation now and the freedom that they have to express themselves. And I acknowledge that I didn't have that. And I really embrace, I'm trying to embrace new ideas as far as my identity is concerned, even with how I express myself and what I wear, how I express myself and, how I present myself to the world. And I didn't have that freedom. And I sometimes feel like I still don't have that freedom. And I work hard to find that.
I think it's a different generation right now. I think with the technology, the modernism, things went too very fast. And now when I see like those very young gay guys, 18 or 19, literally like express themselves in a way that I would go like, wow, when I was this age, I would never think about express myself this way or being so open about my sexuality or anything regarding that. And it's just fascinating to see.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. Let's do it. Okay, Mike, next question is, who are you most thankful for and why?
I would say my partner. I've learned a tremendous amount from him, just as far as, our relationship is concerned. I think he brings out the best in me. And I think that I bring out the best in him. But he is really a very, very rare type of person. He's a unicorn person, extremely kind, extremely committed to excellence in everything he sets his mind to. And that example, I think, is inspiring.
Wow, sweet. Next question. Before the next one, tell me a little bit about your journey in the cruise ship. Tell me the adventures you went through.
Feels like a different life. I did that for about 3 years. I was a singer on cruise ships, and I saw the world. I worked in the Caribbean, did a lot of partying. I worked in Panama. I worked in Colombia. And then I've done Alaska, I've done Hawaii. Really lucky to do that. It was cool. It was a cool little chapter of my life. And some of those people that I met almost 10 years ago are still close friends of mine. Now we're going to each other's weddings. It's amazing.
I did one contract. I was working for Disney Dream, Disney Cruise Line.
I worked on the Wonder.
Did you?
Yeah.
Which year? Do you remember?
I worked on the Wonder, 2013, 14, and then 14, 15.
I did 2016 Disney Dream.
In what capacity?
What do you mean? The how many?
What job?
Oh, I was doing waiting waiter, like
Uh,
waiter. I was like helping.
oh, so you know all about it. Sure.
Food and
Yeah.
beverage, oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you something now. It was one of the biggest like experience of my life. I wouldn't do it again, but I'm glad I did because oh my god, it was amazing. Like as you say about meeting people around the world, and I remember seeing those dancers as well. I was like, oh my god, I want to be there. I want to be dancing
Yeah.
there.
You know, the dream is, or at least I'm not sure if it still is, but it's challenging because the cruises are so short and it only goes to the private island in Nassau. So, you know, people, they always say like you go to the dream, like you're a machine and you just crank out because it's so quickly. It's like you don't even know the guests. They leave in 3 days.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a small world.
Yes, and I've got so many pictures and memories from people. I still keep in touch with them as well, and I have like thousands of stories. I could write a book actually just with my experience in those 4 months I spent there.
Yes.
It's like amazing. I think
I
everyone.
have my. Yeah.
I think
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I think everyone should, you know what I mean, this business, like any kind of business that is connected with the cruise ship, I think they should do at least one contract. Because when I did it, one of my managers was working hospitality at the time, and my manager said, William, do one contract just for you to have an idea. And when I sign up, I just fill up this form online and I sent to different companies, and suddenly Disney contacted me, and I was expecting in less than 1 month, I was with everything ready to go. I was like, wow. I was like, I couldn't believe.
Oh my gosh. I remember when I was, so the way that it works for performers for Disney is that you have, it's like separate. So you have human resources that handles your logistics for the contract, but then it's the artistic casting side that handles the shows. So I remember I got cast in the shows and they're like, great, you have to pass your physical and your background check and all of that. And I always tell this story. I got the offer to go and I was waiting on my physical, and I was waiting on blood work to come back, and my mom took me to see The Lion King for my birthday, and we were sitting in the theater, and the first thing of Lion King was like, nah, and literally I started hysterically crying. I was like, I'm about to go to Disney, I'm about to work on Disney Cruise Line, and then I was like, oh, what if my physical doesn't come back? Everybody's always like, because you know, for actors, you work so hard to get those jobs. Like, I had auditioned for Disney 3 times prior to getting my role there, because those jobs are extremely competitive. And then when I finally got there, I was like, oh, they're gonna take this away from me if I have like, you know, some sort of blood thing I don't even know about.
So you're doing shows, like you were in the show.
The main stage shows, yeah.
I see. And how long was your contract on Disney?
10 months, both.
10 months, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, experience forever is going to be in our minds for sure.
Totally.
Next question is, what would be your ideal day?
Date?
Day, yeah, ideal day.
I really love the beach. I love laying on the beach. I love the ocean. Spending time with people that I really like there and just relaxing, listening to music, maybe having a drink and chilling. That's my ideal, definitely.
Do you consider yourself to be more a day or night person?
Night person, definitely. I don't really function well in the morning. Never really have. I'm much more productive at night as well. Like I'll save all of my emails till the end of the day, send them off, and then go to sleep so I don't have to think about it in the morning.
Wow, good one. Ready for another one?
Sure.
Let's do it. Hey, Mike from New York City. Next question is, who is the most influential person in your life?
I think that's tough. I'd say myself, honestly.
Good one.
I would say myself. I'm learning how to, you know, you have people that you love that you're surrounded with, where you factor them into your decision making, especially when you're in a partnership. But that being said, you have to really claim your happiness, and you have to claim the things that you want for yourself. And it took me a long time to realize that, because especially as an actor, it sometimes feels like you're working for everybody else. It sometimes feels like you're saying yes to things that you don't want to do, that don't serve you, for the sake of the opportunity. And I have taken a long time to, sort of stand for what I want. Even in the sense of, like, for many years I didn't get tattoos, and then COVID happened, and I was like, I want autonomy over my body again. I don't want the fear of I'm not going to be, marketable or castable or Disney enough, wholesome enough. And that's just like a small representation of like my shift in mindset.
Saying that, what's the best of being yourself and what's the worst of being yourself?
I think that I'm pretty much an honest and direct person. I think that that's a quality that a lot of people prize. And I think that if you can have compassion and empathy, you can pretty much say anything, even if it's direct. I think that probably the worst aspect is that I don't always, let me rephrase. I think that I work hard to, it's not always about getting the work done, or it's not always about the result if you're gonna not cultivate a relationship. So I think that my challenge is, like, especially like I'm a Capricorn, so I really prize efficiency. I really prize like people that are good at what they do. And I think that my challenge is to not hold everybody to that standard and not judge them on that standard. Some people, not everybody is going to be CEO mentality. Not everybody is going to be, star mentality, and that's okay. We all have to sort of just meet each other in the middle.
My sister is Capricorn, and I can see her talking to me now through your voice, through your words. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and I think it can, personality sometimes is there. Sometimes you work on it. Sometimes, you're gonna kind of hide a little bit, but always gonna be there. It's part of you anyway. Mm-hmm. Next question. Before the next one, tell me, what's the most challenging part of living in New York City, in your opinion? And being in New York City actually it was a dream that came true 4 years ago. And there's any difference between Manhattan and Brooklyn or not? They are kind of the same, in your opinion?
They're different. I live in Brooklyn now, and I lived in Manhattan for 8 years.
What's the difference?
And, I think that where I live in Brooklyn is more beautiful, if I'm being honest. I think that there are places in Manhattan that are really beautiful, but it costs a lot of money to live in those places. And I really like my neighborhood in the sense that I know the people who own businesses here. I don't go to Starbucks for my coffee. I go to the local coffee shop. I don't, I can really shop small here in Brooklyn. And I think that you can do that in Manhattan as well. I just think it's easier here because I live like a more like crunchy granola farmer's market. I don't really take the subway kind of life. I ride my bike everywhere. And the biggest challenge of living in this city is money, hands down. It'll always be money. And that's not to say that you have to have a lot of money to live here, but I find that the more time it takes to make more money, you lose for yourself. New York is nice because everything's accessible, but your weekends, like everybody's weekends, are very, very precious, especially when you're working really hard all week. So I think that, again, keeping in mind, what you're willing to do for money here. Like when I worked in restaurants, which I did for a number of years in the city, I could really pick and choose how hard I wanted to work and how much money I wanted to make. And I had a great quality of life working like 4 days a week. And now I don't work like that. I work harder than that. Not harder, I work differently than that. It requires a different commitment.
I live in London, and I know exactly what you mean. You know, it's you have a lot of opportunities, you have a lot of like theaters, a lot of things to see for the weekend or during the week as well. But to pay a price for it, to have those possibilities, you know what I mean? And it's not cheap for sure.
And you don't sit, you don't just relax and do nothing, you know?
Yep. You need to be on the go, you know what I mean? You cannot stop, on the go all the time. Next question is, what bores you?
What's the word I'm looking for? Lack of authenticity.
Okay.
You know, if you're gonna devote yourself and commit yourself to making a connection with somebody, even for us right now, like, I don't think that there's any reason, like, once you're grown, to expand your network with people that don't want to meet you halfway and don't want to be authentic. Part of what's so amazing about, I think, LGBT culture in general, social media in general, is that you have the ability to make authentic connections, and you have a lot of ability to make inauthentic connections, which, you know, a lot of people might be interested in. I'm just not.
Let's see, totally understand. 3 questions left for you. Let's do it. Okay, Mike, next question is, if you could be any age, what age would you choose and why?
Tough. Do I get to know the things I know now?
No, I don't think so, because everyone would love that, you know what I mean?
I would say I might go back to 25.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just blinked my eyes and my 20s were over, you know, and I love my 30s. My 30s are amazing, and I think that it really only gets better. But, you know, I did all the things that I want to do. I just want to do them again.
Aging for you is something that bothers you or something that's just numbers?
Sorry, it's so loud here. No, it doesn't bother me. They're just numbers. I don't know what I feel. I don't feel old. I don't feel young. I feel like a work in progress, I guess.
Okay.
I think that's an actor thing. You know, actors sort of have Peter Pan syndrome. Like, you know, it's like, I was told for many years, oh, you're not old enough to do this, or you're not old enough to do this. And then at some point I'm going to blink my eyes and be 45. And then it's like, my chance to be Aladdin is over. So I don't know.
Live in the moment is the best thing. 2 questions left for you. Let's do it. Right, before the next question, let's pretend you are organizing a project, yeah, that you'll have the biggest budget. You can pay anybody in the world to be in this project with you. One person to play your romantic partner, one person to play your mom, one person to play your dad, and you can hire any director around the world because you have the biggest budget for this project. Who that will be?
Okay, well, I'm gonna amend this, and I'm gonna say that I'm gonna cast 2 moms.
Good one.
So I would say I would cast. I think I would cast Oprah, and I think I would cast Mariah Carey to be my moms.
Big contracts, wow.
Not saying that I'm really interested in like a romantic thing between them. I just really look up to both of them as far as inspiration is concerned. Huge Mariah Carey fan. To play my romantic partner, that's tough. My romantic partner, somebody my age, I mean, I don't know. But I would say maybe like Michael B. Jordan. No?
No, it's okay. You are happy. You are
I'm just thinking of somebody who's like similar age, that's so handsome, such a good actor, so kind. That's probably what I would say. I mean, I don't know. Despite how I look, like I still kind of feel grown, even though I'm inclined to be like Tom Holland. But we wouldn't have anything in common.
How about the director?
Director. I would say Spielberg.
Of course, it needs to be him.
Yeah.
Goodness.
I mean, listen, there's so many incredible directors. It's just like when I think of like my quintessential childhood and I think of all the things that he's accomplished, like it would be wild to work with somebody like that.
For sure. Next question is, if you could meet yourself when you were 15 years old again, which device would you give to yourself?
I would tell my younger self to just do what makes you happy.
Good.
Just do what makes you happy, and stay in gymnastics.
Ready for the last one?
Sure.
Let's do it. Last question. Okay, Mike, but before the last question, people watch the interview right now. Maybe they are in the same situation of you, like reconnecting with their parents. Could be their mom or their dad for some reason or another. Maybe there is something holding them back and they don't feel prepared for it now. What would be your best piece of advice?
I would say just say yes. Just keep the channel open, have an open mind, have an open spirit, because for many years I felt closed off because I had prejudged what I thought might be possible. And I think in just keeping an open mind has really led to a lot of rebirth and a lot of new opportunities, especially with my family.
All right. Last question is, who do you count the most for help?
My mother.
Always been? She's always been the one?
Yeah, I think so. She's just good at that, So it's a mom thing.
I can see her watching the interview right now and her smile just going bigger and bigger. Right, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay? So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like. Don't forget to share this video. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Money.
Opportunity.
Family.
Cornerstone.
Love.
Important.
Life.
Changing.
Sex.
Important.
Politics.
Important.
Okay. One word for religion.
So-so.
Fear.
Yikes.
Friendship.
Happy.
Desire.
I don't know. Sorry.
It's okay. Regret.
Not useful.
Okay. Success.
Self-defined.
Like this word. Wish.
Faith.
Happiness.
Necessary.
One word for New York City.
Empowering.
Wow. One word for USA.
Yikes.
One word for acting.
Special.
One word for Oprah Winfrey.
Say again?
For Oprah. You said that you admire her.
Mother.
One word for Mariah Carey.
Timeless.
Nice one. Top 3 favorite songs of her. Your top favorite 3 songs.
My All. Anytime You Need a Friend. And Honey.
Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely partner for a coffee, and I'm going to ask him, tell me the most beautiful thing about Mike, and tell him something that he still needs to work on, to improve on. What he would say?
He would say that I am a good person and that I'm kind. And he would also say that I have to work on my temper.
Ooh, if I would ask the same question to your parents, would be the same answer?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. All right. Let's play now Mike and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. You can ask me a question now.
If you were meeting your 75-year-old self, what would you ask them to know about your life?
Wow, I like the question. I like the question. Right, if I would meet my 75 years old, I would tell him, look, you did well. You went through a lot. You learned a lot of lessons. You did several mistakes that was necessary, but it built the person you are today. And you're a free spirit, and you didn't follow the rules of society. You kind of learned, or you kind of were lucky enough to step out of these things that was taught us since a young age, you know what I mean? And I think we are lucky that we can get out of it somehow and understand that there are no rules that you need to follow. It's your own rule that matters. So yeah, that's I would say to my 75 years old self, for sure, looking back. Good.
Amazing.
Mike, did you have a good time? Did you enjoy the interview?
Yeah, it was great. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for taking the time for the interview. But before you go, if you can share a positive message, something that inspires you.
Something that inspires me. I looked for some quotes, and I just did some research, and I found a really cool quote from Laverne Cox. And I'll just read it. Basically, she says, "We are not what other people say we are. We are who we know ourselves to be, and we are what we love. That's okay." And I resonate with that because I think that we live in a world that wants to define, and we live in a world that really wants to categorize. And I think that part of the work is to be authentic, even if that's undefined. What you say you are is what you are, whether or not people get that or not. And I appreciate that.
Amazing, beautiful. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. I'm so glad we connected during this period of your life that you are going through with your family, your parents. And I think it's beautiful. And I'm sure people watching that, they're going to appreciate as well, because I have no idea how much you'll be helping people. You know, sometimes, as I said before, you know, reconnecting with our parents or people they are in our lives for some reason, it can be difficult and challenging. And just hear some real story like you did and you said and shared, I think it's a helping for sure. Thank you so much. Have a nice weekend.
All right, good to meet you. You too.
Take care. Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.